You come from above. Like him.
So Marvel Studios just dropped a new trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania that is jam-packed with Kang the Conqueror, all his dastardly plans, and even a new shot of MODOK. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, and let's hop in.
You come from above. Like him.
We open on who I assume is the leader of a rebellion in the quantum realm, saying you come from above like him. And remember this line because it's going to play a huge role later.
He will burn the world to find you.
She continues on and says he will burn the world to find you.
Who? The Conqueror.
To which Cassie replies, who? Am I the only one who completely misunderstood Cassie and thought she meant who did he want to find, not who wanted to find them? Maybe it's just that like 2 more people crash landed in the quantum realm and Kang has to know about it or something? I don't know. And one thing I wanted to point out here is the guy standing behind Cassie, clearly escorting her and Scott around, is one of the guys from the original trailer, clearly a group of rebels who like stumbles upon them and is like, all right, we're gonna take you to our leader. Next up, we get Kevin Feige saying Kang the Conqueror is the new iconic villain in the MCU.
Kang the Conqueror is the new iconic villain in the MCU.
Basically saying like, move over Thanos, we've got a new guy in line. But immediately we start getting a ton of shots that kind of conflict with existing theories. And Kevin Feige and Peyton Reed, the director, are talking over these, but we need to look at them in detail as if they're not being talked over. So first off, we get this shot here of Kang sitting alone in his time chair, which actually looks identical to the shot where I theorized he might be holding something that was digitally removed. Point being though, he clearly sits in this chair while it's deactivated and is just angry a lot of the time. And I hate to do this to the Marvel VFX team, but is this a CGI mistake? It looks like a CGI mistake. And now the director Peyton Reed here.
We knew we wanted to go to places that we'd never been.
Which is not only making a statement right off the bat, saying, hey, this is a much bigger deal than Thanos. Obviously, Ant-Man didn't get his big finish in Endgame like we hoped he would, but it really seems like this whole trailer is aimed at making you feel like Kang the Conqueror is a significant threat. Next up, we have a shot of Kang just moving his fingers and throwing Scott against the wall. We've seen some versions of these shots before, but this is a little bit longer take. Next up, there's a shot here of the time chair fully functioning, and it really does look like Kang is showing off here.
Kang is an infinite number of different personas.
Next up, we get Kevin Feige saying Kang is an infinite number of different personas, with the glass shattering and then us seeing a ton of different versions of Kang. One of them is actually a shot I don't think we've seen before, and right here they try to slip something past us. See, Kevin Feige's delivering us some great, written lines about how awesome Kang is, and they show us this shot of Kang walking past Ant-Man and Cassie in their own prisons. And I think this is pretty early on in the movie, and this is the wall that Scott gets thrown up against. I think Kang literally throws Ant-Man against the wall from outside the cage. And next up, we get the same audios we've had before from Janet Van Dyne about how he can shatter timelines, but we do get a few cool shots while she's delivering them.
Rewrite existence and shatter timelines.
And I think it's actually kind of interesting that they're doing a lot of these behind the scenes shots.
In this film, this is really a side of him we haven't seen.
I don't know what's going on here with the way they cut this trailer, but the audio for that little segment is so chopped together. It's like she said a lot of stuff they did not want her to say about him. I'm gonna play it one more time and see if you can just hear the gaps in between her voice.
In this film, this is really a side of him we haven't seen. This is his baddest self.
And as Janet says there, he's his baddest self. We actually get a weird shot of him in some like farmery kind of clothes, like a pre-armor situation. I'm starting to wonder if maybe he used to hang out without the armor on and then maybe somebody caught him lacking and now he just always wears the armor. Maybe I'm thinking about that a little too much, but anyway. And now we're finally at the point in the trailer where we start to get some really juicy information. But before we touch on that, I wanted to say if you guys are enjoying this video and you haven't yet subscribed, please drop a subscription down below. I've really been trying to pump out content on this channel. We did like 10 million views in the opening month, which is just really unfathomable. I'm trying to bring on a team as quickly as I can to get you guys more content out. But like I said, if you have been enjoying these videos, please smack a subscription down below, as long as you're into the MCU, of course. All right, let's go. And now we get to what I consider to be the juiciest part of the trailer.
I will take my revenge on those who banished me, and I will burn them out of time.
Now I'm going to repeat the line and we're going to break it down a little bit. He says, I will take my revenge on those who banished me and I will burn them out of time. Deliberately, he says those who banished me and burn them out of time.
I will take my revenge on those who banished me.
A lot of people were suggesting that he who remains from Loki is the reason this Kang the Conqueror was trapped in the quantum realm, and I think that pretty deliberately puts that theory to bed, because I will burn them out of time would not just be he who remains, it would be him too. too, because it's his variant. At least that's how I'm taking it. So my theory here is this is setting up the origin story of the Fantastic Four, and that this Kang the Conqueror is actually the one who was Rama-Tut. If you don't know from the comics, Rama-Tut actually crash lands in ancient Egypt, and then has a whole fight with the Fantastic Four and just narrowly escaped. And he talks a few times in later comics about how they thought they beat him. But yeah, that's my guess for this line, is he's deliberately talking about the Fantastic Four here, not another Kang variant, not the Avengers, not because he doesn't respect the Avengers, he doesn't respect any of those people. And maybe he's talking about a more cosmic group like the Celestials. Maybe they were like, hey buddy, you need to sit down, and they put him in the quantum realm, but that seems unlikely to me on the whole, especially because in the comics there's a history of this happening. So that's my guess, is that this is a setup for the Fantastic Four movie. And next up, the second juiciest shot on the entire trailer is Kang literally holding the sacred timeline. What? I mean, maybe it's just a representation of it, and he's just got like some 3D model of it, but dude, it looks like the real timeline. It's glowy. I mean, we've seen Iron Man do tons of 3D holotech before, so it is entirely possible this is just a rendition of the timeline, but geez, if that doesn't show you exactly where Kang is going and what he's got going on in his mind for this movie, I don't know what does.
I think the film is ultimately about how time plays within our relationship.
Next up, we get a little featurette from Jonathan Majors and a little insight to how he thinks of the film as Kang the Conqueror.
Ultimately about how time plays within our relationship. Love, friendship, legacy.
Those are an interesting set of words. Love and friendship make sense, but legacy? Is that like Ant-Man's legacy? Like, is he worried about being viewed as a villain for some of the choices he might make, or am I reading that a little too literally?
Ant-Man versus Kang. This is it. People are gonna lose their mind.
Now the next like 10 seconds is like an action montage of a bunch of different stuff, so I'm gonna let it play and then we'll go back and look at each one scene by scene.
Mind.
Now, obviously, the first one is the fist fight between Paul Rudd and Jonathan Majors, which if Kree 3 is any indication, and all these shots of him looking down dramatically, missing a sleeve, mean anything at all, Ant-Man does not win this fight, even though he does hit a pretty mean right. It looks like he's been hanging out with Luis. And now what I think actually reveals the most of the entire trailer is this little snippet here. Kang is in the overworld, or what I'll call Earth. I don't know what planet, but he is definitely not in the quantum realm. Those trees are not in the quantum realm. This is not like the middle of Axia. That is the sun. Like, this man makes it out. So I don't know if this is the end of the movie or what, but yeah, that shot for me, I was like, wait a minute, what? So the whole movie's not in the quantum realm? I mean, I was hoping the movie wouldn't be in the quantum realm entirely, but I didn't know for sure until now. After that, we get a shot of MODOK using his head crystal to just beam the ground and create an explosion in front of somebody, just so you know you don't fatally wound them, but you blow them back a little bit. Classic villain stuff. Well, if you enjoyed this breakdown, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below to Got Culture, and I'll see you very soon with another Marvel video.
Ant-Man versus Kang. This is it. People are gonna lose their mind.